I think it's just play our game. How we know how to play together, just getting used to just running in transition, doing defense of whatever Coach Tony says we need to do, just doing that. I mean, yes, it's a great matchup, but doing what we do best is where we'll be fine.
Sarah, you're obviously in the booth. How long do you think it would be before you feel close to 100%?
I'll feel 100% probably in about 5 minutes. I'm ready to go now, but I'll be ready by tomorrow. I'll see y'all on Sunday at 2:00.
Sarah, how much do you enjoy a challenge like this?
Them games are fun. Like, basketball is fun for me. Like, I love a challenge. I don't like, not necessarily easy, but I like a fun game where the fans can get into it and where we're into it. And I think the best thing about it is we've yet to play our best basketball. I don't think y'all have seen us play our best basketball yet, so I think that's what's possibly going to happen on Sunday.
Jaden, with the injuries still adding up, do you see more pressure? Are you feeling any pressure to kind of add more on the scoring aspect?
I mean, I don't consider it pressure. I need to step up when it comes to things like that. But I still feel like with the team we have, we're very well-rounded. Everybody can put points up. I don't think it's like, all right, next up I have to be a leading scorer. I think when we're hitting from all angles, it's the least of my concern. I'm going to do what I have to do, but I know that all my teammates are going to step up in this situation.
Sarah, when you look at the film from the other day, I mean, y'all had open shots, right? I mean, so what do you think went wrong in that game?
I don't think nothing really went wrong. I think, where there's going to be nights where we don't hit shots, and that's just the night, we didn't hit shots. And I think Sunday, we going to hit shots, We don't really focus on the makes, the misses. We know we got good shooters, and we know sooner or later we're going to knock down those shots, and it's going to open up the paint a lot, too, because now you got to guard us on both sides of the floor.
I guess for each of y'all, what have you seen from Maryland? Like, what's the biggest threat you see from them?
I mean, I'll start off just size. We're not as big all around as we were last year, so just really focusing on if there's a switch situation of making sure we know how to guard a bigger person. But I would really say that's it. Like, everybody brings something different every night, but size is like our uncontrollables,
For sure.
You mentioned that. I mean, it would seem like with you two and Jamie kind of in that starting lineup, I mean, that would give you kind of maybe a speed advantage or, shooting, passing. Do you guys kind of like the three of y'all starting?
Oh, yeah, I know. I think y'all see me get down there, and I'm a big three sometimes, I'm guarding three players sometimes, somebody that's about 6 foot. But I think, us, we complement each other very well, and I think we all bring something different to the table. Like, we just complement each other very well. We don't try to overshine each other. Like, we play together, and we want one another to be better, and we know we need each other.
There's kind of an unexpected challenge on Tuesday. What's kind of the confidence level going into this game?
I mean, our confidence is high. I mean, yes, it was unexpected on Tuesday, but at the same time, we love AB. We know how much she brings to our table. Same thing with Say, but I got confidence in our whole bench. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, losing AB right now is sad and it's hard and it was unexpected, but confidence is high because we all have so much trust in our teammates, our coaching staff. Our confidence is high. I don't think it's really wavered.
I think as long as we walk out with a W, no matter if it's by 1 point, 2 points, 30 points, as long as we got the W, we happy.
Speaking of, the bench and stuff, and just maybe players stepping up, I mean, what have y'all seen from those freshmen?
They amaze me each and every day. Like, it's so many things that I could say about them. Like, you just love being on the floor with them. You love being able to watch them grow because, like, there's somebody, like, that's like my little sisters, and like, they got so much confidence in us, and like, they're willing to listen. And, that's hard sometimes. Like, them transitioning from high school to college is something that can be a hard transition, but I think they've taken on that role very well. Like, Bugs went out, like, she didn't shoot the ball that well the other night, but, like, you saw her crash the board. She played a huge part in rebounding. Bella stepped up and hit a big shot for us. I think, like, those are moments you're like, oh, dang, like, are they still a freshman? Like, they spark you, but, like, they're not really a freshman on the floor or act like it.
Thanks, ladies.
Sick 'em. See y'all on Sunday.
My goodness. Sarah, it's time to go home.
I love talking to y'all. I just hope y'all know that.
I can and I can't. I mean, I think everyone saw it was a lower leg injury. Asia has not signed off on sharing medical information, so yeah, that's all I can really say.
Do you expect to get her back this season? It's a different way of approaching it.
I can't answer that, to be honest. I think if you ask her, she can answer those questions. So yeah.
As far as going forward without her, I mean, who has to kind of step up and pick up some of that slack?
I think it's a group effort. I don't think you replace 20 and 10 with one player, but I think, today was Caitlin's first practice back. So kind of bittersweet because I was looking forward to playing those two together. But I mean, I think she'll take the lion's share probably of her minutes as she works her way back. But we're certainly going to continue to need contributions from both those freshman forwards, as well as, there to be some separation with Erica and Kendra. Maryland's a tough opponent for them based on personnel, but Maryland's one game, so it's kind of a collective effort going forward.
Do you see similarities between y'all and Maryland from like the guard oriented and the line?
They're a lot bigger than us at the guard, and they really are a 5-guard offense. I mean, they really are not playing, and they're not, to me, they're not forwards like Bella and Bugs. Like, they're guards. Like, they are truly, kind of 5'10" to 6'1" guards that are 1s, 2s, and 3s that now they've shifted down and are playing 4 and the 5. So, anyone can bring the ball down. They have a more traditional point guard in Pinzon, but outside of her, they're all, I think, super versatile, and they move them around, and they're going to post their guards. I mean, Jamie, Jaden, Sarah, they're going to get posted really, really hard. So we're going to have to be good in our backside help and really battle because, today was a reversal. We had guards working on perimeter defense or posts working on perimeter defense and guards working on post defense. So, really had to kind of change the focus.
Because of that type of lineup, would Bella maybe even play a bigger role in this kind of game?
Certainly can. I mean, she's obviously someone that's not as apt to be posted up. So it depends on what do we need in the moment. Are we more worried about what they're doing to us and we need to think defensively? Are we doing a really good job of attacking into the lane and making plays? Like then it kind of comes down to an extra ball handler. They press a lot. And so we've got to take care of the ball. I think you can get shots against them if you don't turn it over. You can rebound against them if you don't turn it over. But they will create turnovers with their press.
The other night, you got a lot of good looks that just didn't go down. I mean, you still have the utmost confidence that, you get those looks that, you guys can.
Have to, I mean, we certainly had off nights shooting a year ago early as well. Like, I think it comes down to being able to rely on your defense when you're not making shots. And, if you go back and we watch the game, I don't know that our defense is as good as it needs to be. I think, and I don't mean any disrespect to SMU by saying this. They missed a lot of open shots too, and so I feel like it wasn't that both defenses were so good. It was almost that both offenses were so bad. And I don't, once again, there's no disrespect in that. I think both of us expect players to make open shots. And, so I think on both sides it became a defensive struggle simply because shots weren't going in. And so, yeah, I mean, I have to have confidence in Bugs making a 15-footer on the baseline or at the elbow. I have to have confidence that Jamie's a three-point shooter. She's proven she is, just under 40% a year ago, and she's not a worse shooter now than she was a year ago. So if she continues to get good looks, I expect, she's going to have a 5-for-7 game, a 6-for-9 game if someone gives her that many open threes. and she needs to for us to be successful. Sarah needs to make open threes. I thought late Sarah turned down a wide open three in the corner that I ran for her, and she turned it down because she'd missed a couple shots. And I don't think we can shy away from open shots for good shooters in good spots. We just have to be confident.
What did you learn about the team with how they were able to weather the storm and hold on to the win versus SMU?
I mean, I think we were tough. I think when they made the run against us, we made some big plays. We stayed poised. I didn't see us like drop our heads. I didn't see a lack of poise as the game got close. Even when we were up 5, gave up the 3, and now it's a two-point game. We had Bella hit a big 3 to put it back to 5, and so, I think we were. A year ago, I ran a ton of horns in the fourth quarter as well when I had Queen and Liz, and they really just went to horns and tried to pound it at us in the high-low, and not necessarily what we're going to see the next game. So but it was what was working for them, and so it once again, you get good tape on, hey, we've got to choose a side. Scout, don't eat your leash. We have to choose a side in those situations and not play behind. We've got to have more ball pressure so they can't throw the pass that they want to throw. So there's a lot of growth opportunities out of a game like that. You're certainly happy when you end up on the right side of the scoreboard. But I really challenged them when we went back and we watched like kind of our defensive breakdowns. We weren't very good in defensive transition, and we're getting ready to face, outside of Oklahoma, probably the best transition team we're going to see all season. When you have 5 guards and you have 5 different people that can get you on your break, they just fill. They just fill and play. They have sets. I'm not saying they don't execute, but at times they're just 5 guards playing pickup, stretching you out, dribble driving, screening, cutting. They're really good at cutting off the ball. So our communication and seeing the ball, seeing our man is going to have to be totally elevated from a game ago. It's another baseline. I mean, it's certainly SMU is a step up from Incarnate Word. Maryland's certainly is a step up from SMU. Unique challenges once again. It's not who you play, but sometimes it's stylistically. You hope if there was any question that players were going to get motivated, that this is a game they study their scout for, that they know. All you have to do is look on the scoreboard. I mean, I watched Oklahoma lose by, 46 points yesterday. And believe me, I can make excuses for them. 2 straight days at elevation, playing back-to-back, which doesn't happen usually outside of tournaments. But at elevation, when you're a team that plays with pace, their pace kind of did them in because, you give up 124 points. So you don't show up, you can get run out of the gym. And I think that's the message. You got to be prepared to show up in games like Sunday. And our freshmen are going to be tested because the one thing about their team, they're not playing any freshmen. They may have a new roster, not that dissimilar to ours, but they have the Ivy League Player of the Year, who's a 5th-year senior, and they have Vanderbilt's leading scorer, and kind of most of the guys that are playing for them are either returnees for them or they're transfers with a ton of experience. The kid at South Florida, Pinzon, has played a ton of minutes in her career, so they're just different. It's a little bit more like me taking over the veteran team last year that I did. Even though, what we did was new to all of them, they were still upper-class players that, kind of understood the rigors of this space and big matchups and things like that.
Is Caitlin on any kind of minutes restriction? Or?
I haven't been told that, but I'm sure I'll be told that one way or the other. She didn't have any today in practice. So, I think from a physical perspective, the thing about her injury, she was able to run and condition and do those things. So usually when when we talk about return to play protocol and limiting mileage, sometimes it's because we're building mileage back up and, don't. But I think in her case, because she's been training, just not playing basketball, I don't know that we'll have the same limitations. She's just splinted up. So, but she's still hot. So let's hope that. I was most concerned not with what her wind is, but when you have an injury on your shooting hand, like how does that affect you? How will it affect her the first time she gets it hit? So hopefully she can still shoot it effectively, but we have enough protection on it that she doesn't have to worry about taking a hit.
Has there been any update with Dre's timeline?
No.
Nikki, 50th anniversary of Title IX, obviously been around your lifetime, but just how have you seen that impact? And maybe it seemed like it took a long time really to have an impact.
I think that, as old as I am, I have to hear from my mom. I didn't grow up. I mean, certainly, I don't know if people really realize this about my upbringing, but I played boys sports until high school. I played rec league basketball co-ed. I played Little League baseball and was one of 2 girls in our entire town that played Little League baseball because I didn't want to play slow pitch. Girls played slow pitch in my small town. And now I played softball, fast pitch softball when I got to high school. But, I never thought that there wasn't anything I could do. I was never, the closest thing I got to that was getting to high school and having a bunch of parents go to the school board to lobby for me to not be able to play baseball, which is kind of ridiculous. And I really wasn't trying to play high school baseball. I was fine playing fast pitch softball. I just didn't want to play slow pitch softball. I didn't view that as a sport. No offense to slow pitch softball. I was 13 at the time. But I just, to hear my mom say that her only options were cheerleading and band in her small town because sports, weren't equal. I think this generation doesn't understand, and they don't understand in some ways, not just how it's affected opportunity because they've always had it, but how it's affected equality. And I think that's the bigger thing today at how we look at Title IX is that it's not just opportunity, it's equality, and how the men travel is how we travel. And when we build a new arena, we have to have the exact same square footage and things like that. They don't really understand capitalism until they see the NBA and then they travel in the WNBA and realize how stinking good it is in college athletics. When they suddenly are throwing their own bags and getting in line to board a commercial flight. And I think in time that'll change, but I think it's a huge difference. You got to kind of fend for yourself at that level. So I'm grateful. I mean, I'm where I am today because of it, even though I didn't understand that growing up. I get to coach basketball for a living, and I fell in love with basketball in the 5th grade, and here I am. I'm not going to say how many years later, but it's kind of driven every decision in my life. Sports has. And if there's anything crazy about that, it's that there's people that don't follow sports. Like sometimes I just don't understand that there's people on the planet, that don't know what happened in the game last night, and so, because they love theater, they love whatever they love, so, yeah. You're welcome.